What's going on, people? So Huey P. Pyru, aka The Game, aka Chuck Taylor, called out Meek Mill the other day for allegedly snitching on him. Now, nobody knew what the hell this guy was talking about. You know, Game is always out here talking about something, and people don't know what the hell he's talking about. But come to find out, it was related to something that Sean Kingston was involved in, something where he got his chain robbed or something like that, and Meek Mill told something, and the feds ended up coming to the Game's house, and it was a big mess. So the Game dropped 92 bars, okay? Went in on, well, I ain't gonna say he really went in on Meek Mill, because he really didn't say anything about him until the last, I would say, couple, maybe 5 to 8 bars on the record. Same old stuff he usually says. So then Meek Mill replied and was making little videos and stuff on Instagram like these new cats do. And I don't know why, these quote-unquote gangster rappers get on social media and start threatening people. Do you guys know that, the feds are watching you? There is something called the hip-hop police out here. They are monitoring everything you guys do. So, this new era here, nobody wants to call somebody up and say, hey, is there a problem? Let's go to lunch or something like that. Let's meet at this particular place and talk it out like men. If it is a problem, let's head up. You can catch the fade. Nobody wants to do that anymore. People want to get on Twitter and, talk mess on there and Instagram. And, it's the same with these trolls here on YouTube. Everybody is a thug on the internet. But if you catch them in person, they're softer than cotton candy. So, I don't know why these guys do it, but I digress away from that. But anyways, Meek Mill responded back with a whole bunch of Philly artists, from Beanie Siegel to AR Ab, there's a couple of other cats too. And, they basically were unifying together against the Game. And they made, actually did the remix of the Ooh Wee song or whatever. The record's I don't really mess with the original, but, so it's okay. It's good for radio. And he got on there, start rapping about the Game or whatever. Beanie Siegel was on there talking about he'll be in LA in 3 hours. And my thing about with Beanie Siegel is that, dog, you just got shot in the lung. You need to be sitting your ass down somewhere, staying away from violence, okay? You've already lost your voice, okay? Which I thought Beanie Siegel had a dope voice when it came to rapping. It was very aggressive. It was very in your face. But now, because of the situation, him getting shot in the lung, it's changed his voice. He can still spit, but it's kind of like a raspy whisper type of tone. So you would think somebody like that, just sit back, focus on the music, focus on, rehabilitating his career, because ever since The Rock, he really hasn't really done anything. And I felt kind of bad for Beanie, because when all that Dame Dash Jay-Z stuff was going on, when he got out of prison and he came back thinking, okay, now, I can have that budget, my people can put me on, I can get back out there and do what I want to do. The Rock had dismantled, so he basically came home to nothing and had to start from scratch. So, I always felt like Beanie Siegel got the short end of the stick of that. But it's like, when you come out here and you start getting into situations that have nothing to do with you, I find it to be a problem. And another thing I point out for you guys that follow me on social media, you notice when Meek Mill was going at Drake, nobody said nothing. Nobody said a peep. Drake murdered Meek Mill. I ain't gonna say he murdered him, but he clowned him and made a diss record a hit record, and people don't usually do that. People come out and make a diss record against somebody. The streets like it, but it doesn't really reach Grammy level. It doesn't get, national radio play. Drake actually made a diss record that was a hit, which is what he does, and nobody say anything. And the reason nobody say anything is because it's the politics of the music industry. I work in the music industry. I know the games and the politics and, how people be kissing people's asses and don't want to say nothing or don't want to be honest, for the simple fact that they might need that look on the next album, or they might need that feature, or they want to advance their career. So, they'll shuck and jive or kiss certain people's asses to advance their career. I see it every day, and it's a very small group of us, including myself, who actually keep it real and don't shuck and jive through the music industry. But you notice nobody say anything. Why? Because Whether you like it or not, whether you like Drake's music or Drake as a person, everything Drake is on is a hit. Everything he touches gets national radio play and is a hit record. So these guys are sitting back looking at it like, okay, well, if I go out here and I join Meek Mill in this battle, I might not get that look from Drake. I might not be able to have Drake on my record, which would give me great radio play and great promotion for my album. So, everybody didn't say nothing. Everybody was quiet as hell. But when it came to Game, everybody wants to hop in and, oh yeah, we Philly and we united and we all going against Game because Game can't do anything for these guys' career. Can he rap? Yeah, Game can rap when he wants to. I think the guy's very lyrical when he wants to. But when it comes to him getting on a record and making it an instant hit, he doesn't have that ability anymore. I think he had it back in 05, 06, but he's dwindled since then. But Drake is a whole different ballgame. Drake is one of the hottest commercial artists out here, so nobody wants to say nothing. But, it's crazy how these rappers come out here and play these little girl schoolhouse barnyard games. It's funny to me. And I don't have a problem with artists going back and forth, being competitive on wax. Long as it stays on wax and, these guys are just rapping from a lyrical perspective and, just keeping it hip hop. I don't have a problem with that. That's where hip hop comes from. But when you start talking about killing somebody, or you start bringing their children and, their wives and their family into it, I think that's when it takes it to another level. And with all the, the police brutality going on out here and, the brother just got shot on the freeway the other day. It's just, you really got to be careful with that because here it is. We got the police trying to shoot us down. We got all this other bullshit out here. We got racism. We got white supremacy. And then here you have two artists that should be using their platform, uniting Philly, West Coast, down south. Everybody should be uniting and saying, you know what? We're going to diss the police department. We're going to diss the government. We're going to diss these crooked-ass politicians. We're going to diss that racist-ass Donald Trump. Instead of them coming together and unifying and going against the system, they go against each other. So, it's really something that I think a lot of these guys need to think about before they come out here and start dissing each other. And, I heard the other diss record that Game just released, what was the shit called? Pest Control. Now, that one, he went a little bit deeper. That one, he came with the bars. Now, I like that diss record, but again, you got to ask yourself, is this really worth it? And then yesterday, I read an article from Complex Magazine. They were saying that Game was, really rethinking beefing with Meek Mill off of the simple fact that we have police brutality out here and the brother just got gunned down. I think it was another brother in North Carolina. He got shot. Standing in front of a school waiting on his son with books in his hand. Shot him down. So it's like when you think about all this, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth it at this point of time in society to be beefing with another brother? Because this is the time we got to unite. We got to put our dollars together. We got to push back on this racism and white supremacy. Because the common enemy we have out here is white supremacy. See, they love to see you Negroes go back and forth and talk about killing each other and, I'm going to do this and, I fucked your girl and all. They love to see that because it takes your attention off of what's really going on. And we really got to put our petty differences to the side and unite for a common ground. Because the real enemy, the real hip-hop beef we have is with white supremacy. That's what we need to be beefing towards. Now, like I said, I don't have a problem with, us being competitive in hip-hop. That's where hip-hop comes from, us rapping in the park and you battling somebody. But it's got to be a code of honor. It's got to be respect to it. It's got to stay on a certain level. But when cats start talking about, killing each other and you joining one side trying to make it a Philly versus West Coast thing, that's when you take it to another level. That's when it becomes corny. That's when I can't back it. And Game, he's one. That's why I call him Huey P. Pyru, because one minute you Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X. The next minute you Sylvester from Pyru. The next minute you Tukey Williams. The next minute you old dog for Menace to Society. So it's like, dog, pick a side. You got to be consistent, because when you're not consistent, you can't be taken serious. But that's all I really got to say about it. Game, you stay in LA doing your thing. Meek Mill, you stay in Philly riding your dirt bikes. And y'all just put y'all petty differences to the side, because both of these guys got kids. Nobody really want no gunplay involved. Both of these guys got mouths to feed. And what's going to happen is going to be one of them little small soldiers in one of y'all camps is going to pick up a gun, thinking they doing something to try to earn some stripes, make this whole thing lead into some gunplay, and then now it's going to be an even messed up situation. Now you got a murder case. Now it's really serious. So, y'all kill that bullshit, man. You cats chill out. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with a little hip hop, being competitive every now and then. But, y'all keep the violence out of there, because right now we don't need that in our community. We really don't. Y'all cats need to be unifying, coming together, and pushing back, using y'all platform to create change, not out here going against each other. But, that's all I got to say, man. Let's grow up and let's be grown men. I'm out. Peace.